How to make a friendship bracelet, fishtail pattern or two-string weave pattern. What you'll need is your loom tool, a yarn or tapestry needle, scissors, 30 inches of warp string, and one color of yarn. In this case, we're actually going to use two because I'm going to show you how to make this kind of pattern zebra effect. Let's get started. Okay, so what you'll do first is you'll cut 3 feet of each yarn or one yarn that you need, set it aside, and you're going to take your warp string that you've cut about 30 inches width. If you're making a choker or a ring, just make it longer or shorter as needed. Okay, fold it in half. So this is what you have with the loop on one side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these yarn that I have. Again, if you want to use one color, that's fine too for this. At about 5 inches down from the end, I'm going to make a tight double knot. Cut off this end. I should just cut off that slack yarn there, leaving this. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to warp your loom tool. What you'll do is secure it to one, wrap it around, and then secure it. So with this one, you'll actually need 2 strings for your warp. So what I like to do is just move one yarn to the side, taking this down. You'll secure one side of your warp to one notch and the other side to the other notch. Okay, make it really taut. If it becomes loose as you weave and as you stitch, don't worry about it. Just unsecure it and then just secure it again. Okay, so now I'm going to take this yarn. I'm going to trim it so the ends are even. And take your needle. And we're just going to do a simple tabby stitch, which is over one, under, then over, under, over, under. Okay, so I'm going to go slowly. I'm going to go over the rightmost one and under the leftmost. Okay. Pulling. Then since this is under, do you see that? You're going to go now over that left one and under the right one. So the most important piece about this tabby stitch, this fishtail pattern, is that as you stitch, you're going to have to push your rows basically up so they move up to one another like this to form a pattern. And also just make sure that your tension is tight as you go and tight enough. If it's loose, the pattern won't look quite as compact and kind of neatly weaved together. Okay, so it also depends on the yarn that you're using. Some yarn's really slippery, you might have to hold it down sometime as you stitch until it's kind of packed together. So I'm showing that as an example. I just put my finger on there, move it up. So this is actually quite an easy stitch as well. It'll take you maybe 10 to 15 minutes at most to go all the way down here. This stitch is perfect for kids as well. And if you use thicker yarn, you'll move really quickly. I'm using fingering weight yarn here, so it's quite thin. But see how it's forming that zebra pattern with 2 color yarn. But if you're making one yarn, it's equally pretty. I love using a hand painted yarn because it has a beautiful gradient. You have a whole bunch of different colors. So again, this is one of those projects that is just amazing for your yarn stash. And if you have been hanging on to that tiny bit of yarn that you love so much and is super precious and you don't know what to do with it because you don't have enough for anything, making a special friendship bracelet is perfect for it. Okay, so now I have a finished one that I've done earlier. So now what you'll do to finish it, you'll undo this and you'll slip this off, and then you're going to make your tight knot. Now with any friendship bracelets, you could embellish it with beads or pom-poms or tassels or buttons. You could use a, you know, jewelry closure if you want. If you have crimps and pliers on hand, I think it adds a really nice touch. But when you use beautiful yarn, your friendship bracelets come out beautiful no matter what. Okay, now I'm gonna cut these off. I'm just gonna cut the yarn piece off. And you could cut this loop too if you like, it's up to you. I like it so that it looks perfect on both of them. So this is your fishtail friendship bracelet.